quickly, I want to throw this one out there because, again, I think we're both in the boat where we would not be shocked, but we'd be a little surprised if the Dodgers land Juan Soto. Still think Teoscar Hernandez is coming back. Do you think the Dodgers need to re-sign Kiké Hernandez?
100%. I think Kiké Hernandez, you could it'd be one thing. Here's the thing about Kiké. It'd be one thing if it was, okay, he did what he did in the 2024 postseason. He get the big home run in Game 5 of the NLDS. He comes through in the NLCS. I mean, the big series in the Yankees, the big innings, they were started by Kiké Hernandez singles, right? Just the little things. I mean, players, coaches, they'll tell you he's the smartest guy. Dave and Mookie said on their podcast he's the smartest player he's been around. These little tiny things kind of getting in the way of Volpe's throw to kind of force that misthrow to Jazz, kind of putting pressure on Judge when he dropped the ball in the 5th inning. I think when you look at his baseball savvy, his flair for the dramatic, his slow heartbeat in October, if that was just one postseason run, I'd say, you kind of live without him, right?
Nope.
He also did it in 2020. He had a big home run against the Braves. He was the one of the only guys that hit against the Diamondbacks in 2023, and he should have been starting and getting more opportunities earlier in that series. And look, ask any player on the team, who's the funniest guy on the team? Kiké Hernandez immediately. I mean, I think for the kind of money that he could get to, he knows what it was like in Boston when he was always wondering, man, what would it have been like if I could get 500 plate appearances and be an everyday player? He has that answer now, and it's not the role for him. It's a perfect role on the perfect team. I think with Max Muncy struggling against left-handed pitching and the injuries, I mean, he's going to find his spot on this team. So I am 100% all in on the yes. You have to bring back Kiké Hernandez, fan favorite, clubhouse favorite. And this is the thing, Clint. Next postseason, that first game where they don't come through in a big spot. If for whatever reason they don't win because they're like, oh, they didn't have pass, they didn't have that spark, they didn't have that clutch base hit, they're not going to say anything but, where the hell is Kiké Hernandez?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
I don't want to live for that.
A quick pause here to tell you about Bet Online. It continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the football to the NBAs to the college basketballs, NHL, UFC, it's got it all. Head to Bet Online today. Don't forget to use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here, and let's get back into it. Two things I'll add to this is, one, Doug McKain, would you ever imagine a world where I am pro Kiké Hernandez?
I have to admit, you know what? Things have changed in Dodgerland very quickly, man. When you beat the two New York teams, you could win the Yankees series. I mean, for Kiké, for you to be, I'm known as a big Imanaga hater, right? I'm a big Imanaga hater because I used to get mad that people would put him in the same tier as Yamamoto, right? Like, they're not on the same table. But for you to be pro Kiké Hernandez,
times have changed,
man. That's pretty big, man. I mean, that's pretty bad. I'm trying to think of a Dodger player. Maybe I have to go to like Milton Bradley, that I really hated. You know what I'm saying? Like Jason Schmidt for different reasons, but like, yeah, I mean, the kind of thing with Kiké is so weird is because, like, I mean, the truth of the matter is he's a very average at best to a below average for most of the time in the regular season. Yeah. And in the postseason, he plays like an all-star. But what was the note? Okay, let me ask you this, Clint. Then, what was was there one moment? Was it saying we don't give an F to Ken Rosenthal? Was it stepping up? And was there like one moment that you can kind of link turning it around to Kiké?
It was the look off of the Yu Darvish homer. That look said, we're winning this. We got this. Fuck the Padres. We're going. And then he dropped the famous, line to Ken Rosenthal, and all things went from there. That kind of became the mantra, the vibe, even though the fact was he was wrong, because they very much give a fuck. And we saw them do that against the Yankees. The Yankees didn't give a fuck. And as Chris Taylor said, they shat down their legs. This team gave all of the Fs on all of the areas where it made sense. You saw Freddie Freeman, he gave all of the Fs, and he also kind of gave his ankle to help this team win a World Series. So I got to
do a meetup, and we can do the belt bump. We can do the belt bump.
Me and you?
Yeah. You know what I call the bell pump? I mean, the Dodgers invented the high five. That's the low four. That's the low four.
yeah, you got that one. You got. Let's see what else.
No, but
I'll give you the drum.
I'm totally with you. I mean, from a roster spot standpoint too, right? I mean, the truth is, I mean, they got the ultimate Kiké Chris Taylor in.
Yeah, and every time, man, every time he finds a way to get in that lineup. He needs to be in that lineup. Like in the postseason, just make him a starter somewhere. He finds that way. You got to have him back. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I derailed you there.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I think it's kind of one of those things with Kiké where you look at last season. I mean, he had some offers towards the end. He waited it out. You trade Margot, finds a spot on the roster. Some people were like, oh, Margot, it could be this, that, and this and the other. But no, man, I mean, Kiké is Kiké. And also, too, let's be honest, like that ring ceremony would not feel complete if he was not a part of it. It just would not. So that's not a reason to sign someone. Let's just put that out there. But I think it's going to be a drop of the bucket contractually based on some of their other players. And I'm surprised I'm actually pretty surprised they haven't already signed him. Like I really am. Man,
it's got to be on the checklist somewhere. Like hits, homers, on base. Is a vibe. Like you got to have the vibe check somewhere on that Andrew Friedman checklist. And one of the other things I was going to say when we're talking about Kiké Hernandez and more so the postseason performer, Doug, we watched before this season, we watched very early exits in 22 and 23 for this Dodgers team in the postseason. And Andrew Friedman was asked, I think Bill Plunkett asked him in 23, after 23, it's like, how are you going to go out and try to get some postseason performers? And he was like, how do you know who a postseason player is? Well, you found out. It's your Blake Trinan who needs to be back. Told Alana on foul as she was pinch hitting for Scott Braun this week. She told him. He told the boys there, everybody on foul. I want to be back. I'd love to be back in Dodgers. I have nothing but great things to say about that team, and I hope we find a way back. But it's Blake Trinan. It's Kiké Hernandez. They come up with these big moments. Freddie Freeman, you went out and got that guy because you saw him have big moments against you in the postseason. But yeah, there is such thing as postseason players. And now, don't let them go. Don't let Kiké Hernandez go again. Hey, Jock is a free agent. Maybe you bring him back and you just let it figure itself out. I don't want Jock back, but you got to throw it out there for fun.
No, for sure. And look, I mean, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, I always say, right? And you think of these guys in their best times, and those are kind of we're kind of winning, we're kind of contenders, right? I mean, you did make the 2017, 2018 World Series, but when we look at the roster then versus now, it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's at a whole nother level at this point. But I want to touch on your point that you found these postseason performers, right?
Yeah.
You have, right? But also those guys aren't guys that were like, yeah, they perform in the postseason and they're also like 27 and they're all-stars. So now other teams are offering $100+ million or whatever it is. Those postseason guys that you're talking about that they've found are also guys that aren't going to get $50+ million contracts from other teams. So they also fit in your roster construction, your roster build, where you bring back Blake Trinan on a 2-year deal, $15 million, something in that range, and you hope that he does what he did this season: sub-2 ERA, 30+% strikeout rates, a dog in the postseason. Because look, everyone's gonna remember the Walker Buehler this. Everyone's thinking about that, but hey. The real ones, the ones that are not new to this, the ones that are true to this, like you and I, remember 6, 7, and 8 from Blake Trinan, right?
I was arguing that he needed to be co-MVP of that series because of what he did.
That's insane.
Hey, you know what? Just give it to him. Whatever. They could cut the car in half. I don't know if they gave out a car.